What's going on, you guys? Hopefully my audio is good. I'm pretty sure it is. I'm gonna make sure though. Yeah, it's good. All right. I just wanted to do this live because it's been a while since I've streamed on YouTube. It's because I had a 90-day stream ban. Because I was trying to stream the UFC for an ex-girlfriend at the time, and I thought maybe since I had it unlisted and literally not named, YouTube wouldn't know, but they knew, so I don't know how that works, but anyway. Anyway, we're gonna get into it, because, I really wanted to talk about it because it felt like something that I needed to talk about, in terms of, you know, being fair and also, like, wanting to get my opinion out there because, you know, fuck it. Anyway, so the 2019 Daytona 500, right? Oh yeah, Clout Chaser. Hey, dude, how's it going? I wanted to talk about the 2019 Daytona 500 because I feel like the amount of it was an amazing race, right? It was a great race. I thought at least the first, like, I don't know, 160 laps were fucking incredible. It's the best Daytona race that I've seen for a 500 in a very, very, very long time. And the reason for that is that they actually decided to go out there and race the cars. They decided to go out there and race each other. Where the day before you saw the Xfinity race and it was literally nonsense. You know what I mean? And it was really depressing. But then you had today. I literally came into the 500. I watched the Clash. I watched the duels. And I had absolutely zero hope for this race. Like, literally zero. I didn't even want to watch the Daytona 500. I don't know if that was that way for everybody. I have no fucking idea. But I was pleasantly surprised for 160 laps. And I really want to stress how much I was surprised by it because I really couldn't believe how good it was at the time. The people that I was watching it with, all of us were like, what the fuck? This is amazing. Like, this is a great race. And we were all freaking out. And it was a perfect mixture of cars could break away, but then they could be caught. If they broke away too far, then they were in trouble. And it was a classic super speedway race, in my opinion. Oh, by the way, hi, Dennis Bowman. Or Bowen, excuse me. I just called you Bowman. I'm thinking about the 500. I'm sorry. He said the 500 was like my cold. It sucks, but I can deal with it. On God, man. And then NROL was talking to Dennis. But anyway, hey guys, how's it going? So let me just, dude, I need to talk about it. I really do. I'm like itching. I'm physically itching myself because I was like, dude, I need to talk about this, and this is a perfect one to talk about. Oh yeah, Dennis Hamlin. Okay, not you, Dennis. He's talking about Denny Hamlin. Holy shit. All right, anyway. So yeah, the 500 started out incredible. It was actually great. I was surprised at how well everybody was able to race. I was surprised at how well everybody decided to race each other. It was a very clean and precise way of running the track, and there was close calls all the way throughout this fucking race, you know what I mean? Like, the amount of times that there was a close call, the amount of times that, you know, that I was actually stunned by the racing, being like, holy shit, this is amazing, was off the charts. It was great, but then we get to the end. And I don't know what it is with these cup drivers. I don't know what it is. if it's the car, if it's their nerves, if it's whatever, they just decide to throw the baby out with the bathwater and literally ruin a race. And that's kind of what they did. In my opinion, they ruined the race. Here's why. By the way, remember, I'm doing this live, so if I jump back and forth, it's because I'm live and I'm not reading from a script and I'm not David landing it where I'm literally editing a video together and trying to make it a beautiful video to watch, which in his case, all of his videos are very well done. This is me talking. So, you know, we can have a conversation in chat if you want, you know, all that, etc. But, like I said, the Cup drivers just decide that they're done being smart. They throw their brains out of the cars and literally turn them into mush when they hit the walls. So, we got to talk about the first wreck, because you had Paul Menard and you had Matt DiBenedetto. And listen, I walked out of my room. I was not in my room watching it. I was watching it on a stream in my room because I don't have TV in my room. And then I went into my mother and father's bedroom. I was looking at it on the TV for the moment that I was in there. And holy shit. I'm not going to shit on Menard, which is odd because I'm usually the one that says fuck Menard. At first I said fuck Menard, you know, he caused that wreck, which was pretty obvious. He knew it as well. The second he got out of the car and was able to be interviewed, he apologized, and great for him. Good for him. That was a great way of dealing with it. Jimmy Johnson, he didn't take responsibility for his wreck in the Clash. I thought that was pretty, you know, classless, if I'm going to be honest with you. But then you had Menard, who wrecked half the field in the Daytona 500, immediately took blame for it. And I don't know if it was really necessary for him to take blame in the way that he did, where he was like, yeah, I just junked the field. Because it was kind of different in terms of how he took blame than normally drivers taking blame for a wreck, which was he decided that he was going to take 100% full blame for it. And I don't think that it was fair for him for one reason only, is that he was trying his damnedest to make sure that the 95 had a good run entering the corner. And I mean, he wrecked him, but I don't think it was like how everybody else saw it. At least when I saw the replay a couple of times, I was like, okay, it was pretty obvious he tried to go high, and he happened to just kind of clip him a little bit, and it got him out of shape, and he got on the right rear quarter panel, and it wrecked him. I don't think it was intentional. I think he pushed him the first time, expecting for him to go a little bit further out than he did, and then he went up high. And, you know, like I said, he expected for him to get pushed forward because the package is retarded, and it just didn't happen. It was happening all day for everybody else who were pushing each other, but at this time specifically, for whatever reason, it just didn't work out that way, and he happened to wreck him. But good for Menard for taking responsibility for the crash. And we're going to read chat a little bit. Clout Chaser, everyone stops lifting at 20 to go. 100%. And listen, they shouldn't not lift. You know what I mean? Like, they should race as hard as humanly possible, but it's like, you don't have to throw away your brain. And that's what they all do. Every time that there is a end to a race, they throw their fucking brains away. Like, what Indianapolis race was that? The Brickyard in 2017, I think it was. Pretty sure. I thought that race was fucking fantastic. I thought that race was amazing. I thought it was good from start to finish, to be really honest with you, because we saw something that was so much different than what we had seen before with the Gen 6 car, where they were actually able to fucking draft off of each other and then pull to the inside and actually pass. But then you had drivers who were blocking, and it was a weird, it was almost like a bummer version of an Indianapolis 500, and I really enjoyed it. I thoroughly enjoyed it. But then at the end of the race, they just decided, hey, dude, we're stupid, and we're not gonna fucking think with our brains, and we're just gonna start wrecking each other over and over and over and over and over again. I mean, I can't remember how many wrecks there were at the end of that race, but there was a lot, if I remember right. Like a ton. And it was stupid. And I remember thinking that it was stupid then, and I think it's stupid now. I made a video about that, basically saying that NASCAR fans were stupid because they sat there and said that the beginning part of that race was horrific, but then when they got to the end, they were like, it was the best race ever. And it's like, they literally crashed for, you know, the last 40 fucking laps. And that's what happened in this race, too. They crashed for the last 40 laps. I knew it was going to happen. I hoped it wouldn't happen in the 500, but it did. You got NRL Racing League. Menard became the big car meme. Yeah, he really did, though. I mean, it wasn't on purpose, though, and that's the difference. You could tell even by just, like, looking at it that he didn't do it on purpose. And it was really obvious that he was just trying to help him, and then he wasn't really going anywhere, so he gave him that one final push, and then just decided, like, okay, you know, I'm gonna go high. Hopefully he got that final push, and it pushed him really far forward, so I can actually, like, go up high and get a run on him in the center of the corner, and it just didn't work out that way. But, like, what Jimmy Johnson did in the Clash, I feel like that was dumber than what Paul Menard did. Like, tenfold, to be honest with you. But that's me. You know? A very wise wolfie. Almost read it as a very wise wolf. I see what you did there. You're trying to confuse people. A very wise wolfie says, I think the Boyer big one was the stupidest one. Of course. We haven't gotten there yet. We'll get there, though. Dennis Bowman. Bowman? Jesus, why do I keep calling you Bowman? Dennis Bowen, dude. Fuck. He says, Stenhouse to me, I'm pissed off about. This is like the 3rd or 4th place track in a row where he wrecks someone. Yep. We'll get to that one, too. A very wise Wolfie also said they crashed for the last 20 laps. Yep. They literally couldn't stop crashing. I mean, there was like 10 good cars left, and they were still crashing each other, especially with the Boyer part. Listen, I feel like more of the normie fans are going to be more upset about the Menard part than everything else. For us that watch it every fucking week when it's on, we find the Stenhouse and the Boyer parts particularly difficult, but I feel like people are going to look back at that Menard wreck and try to call him a dumbass for years. And it's like, he doesn't deserve to be called a dumbass over that one. That one was pretty plain and simple, to be frank with you. Also just got a Facebook message. Didn't even know that I had Facebook open. Anyway. But yeah, let's talk about let's go in order. So we had the Menard crash, and then what was the next crash? Was it the Boyer one? Or wasn't there one before that? Alright, we're just going to talk about the big wrecks. Yeah, Very Wise Wolfie says, the first big one, fine, I can accept it. The last 2 crashes are the dumbest. Of 100%, I agree. The first wreck, the first big one is really what set the tone for the end of the race, because they all just destroyed each other, and they were like, okay, there's less people to deal with, let's go. And it's like, why do they do that? The amount of people that get paid this much money to do this shit, and then just, I mean, they've raced this package, I'm telling you, they've raced this package since 2013, it really hasn't changed all that much. Even with the bigger spoiler, the longer spoiler, etc. Like, you know, they've used this package so many times, and they still can't figure out how to fucking race it. They still can't figure out how to, you know, set up a last lap run with it. They can't. They just don't even understand. And what was even more interesting this year was the fact that they were clearing themselves like the cars had gotten longer or something. Like, it was the weirdest shit I've ever seen. And I just don't understand it. Dude, I wish I could interview a driver and be like, what the hell? Um, oh, the Stenhouse big one was the one afterward, after the Menard one. A Very Wise Wolfie says, actually, the second crash is Larson's fault for the most part, in my opinion. Larson doored Stenhouse into Harvick. Here's the thing, though, like, okay, so with the Johnson crash, right, in the Clash, the thing about those cars is that when they get side by side, they pull each other across the track, and it's been like that for a long time. Like, ever since, you know, the COT, they were able to do that, where if they side drafted and got a big fucking side draft, then, you know, it moves the car that you're side drafting toward you, and it just happens. I don't know why. I guess it's because they take so much left side force off of the car that the right side force gets disturbed really bad, because it's overall just throwing off the force of the car entirely. So it moves the cars. Stenhouse got way too close to Larson. He had been doing that all day, and I knew he was going to cause a crash. And actually, depending on if Twisted Toe uploads those reactions, you'll literally hear me say it during the reaction video, which is the 14 and the 17 are going to crash each other, or they're going to crash other people. And that's exactly what happened. The 14 and the 17 crashed each other. They crashed the field. But no, Stenhouse was doing that shit all day, where he was grabbing such a big side draft on people that they had no choice in the matter, and their cars were just getting sucked towards them. Especially when there's a big gap in between two cars. Say you're, excuse me, you're the car that is further behind another car, so you're not nose to tail, but you've got like half a car length between somebody in front of you. Then somebody comes and side drafts on your door. It's going to be more aggressive. The pulling of the car coming downwards versus the car coming up, side drafting off of you. If somebody is further ahead, then it's going to be a more aggressive side force change, because you've got all that air coming off of the car in front, and then you have the car that's taking all the side force off of your car, right? So you're having a lot of air being disturbed. It's going to happen, and that was the situation that Larson found himself in. Stenhouse caused that wreck to me, because I know too much about these fucking cars at this point. Know way too much. And hopefully with this new package, it'll be completely different, and they won't have these problems, but Larson, it did look like Larson doored him, but it was because he got the fucking air sucked right off his car. Like, he had no choice. If Stenhouse wouldn't have went 3 wide and then sucked all the air off of him, like, they wouldn't have crashed. And Stenhouse, to his credit, is aggressive, and I like the fact that he's aggressive, but he's aggressive in really stupid ways. Because we saw that all speed weeks, where cars were getting fucking moved around when they were getting side drafted, and he just kept doing it. But you know, it's the nature of the beast, man. A Very Wise Wolfie also says, hi, brother, by the way. My favorite part of the race was stage 2 and that battle between Byron and Johnson. Yeah, it was interesting. It didn't last for a super long time, but one of my friends that I was watching the race with was really excited for that too. And personally myself, like, I don't like Byron, I don't like Johnson, but it is pretty neat, you know. I did feel extremely bad for Johnson getting wrecked going on the pit road. Like, listen, man, I don't like Jimmy Johnson. Like, a lot. Like, the amount that I don't like him is severe. He's won 7 championships. He's one of the best. I can't fucking disagree with that shit. But, he's dumb as hell. He makes me very upset. But I felt the worst for Jimmy Johnson throughout that entire race. Like, there was no other person that I felt worse for during that race, because while I don't like Jimmy Johnson a lot, I fucking despise Cody Ware. Main reason why. And listen, it's gonna sound like shade. Honestly, I really hope he sees this. I really hope Cody Ware sees this video. I really do. Because when I tell you this shit, you're gonna laugh your ass off. I don't know if you guys have Cody Ware added on Facebook. But this fucking guy, man, he's a bit of a douche. He surrounds himself by douches that kiss his ass, while he's not really worth a damn to begin with. But this fucking guy goes on Facebook one day and he posted this big long this big long apology about how, you know, since he's socially not aware of his actions because of his autism, that, like, you should pardon him. And listen, man, I don't know if that's fucking true, and I made it sound a lot less worse than it actually was. Like, the way that he worded it was fucking hilarious. He basically said, I'm an asshole because I'm autistic, is what he said. And I thought it was really funny, because knowing him, seeing how he acts, I don't think he's autistic. If he's autistic, he has the lowest form of autism I've ever seen. He's just a douchebag. So, the shit that he had with Ray Black Jr., don't know if you guys know about that, but Ray Black Jr. was supposed to race for, Rick Ware Racing, and he didn't, for very specific reasons, but, the motherfucker sat there and went on Twitter and started blasting Ray Black Jr., and then went into a group full of people who are not even involved with NASCAR, and then started shitting on him in there. And then I basically said, hey, dude, you're kind of being a douchebag. And then he acted like I was stupid. And that was like 2 weeks after his, sorry, I'm autistic and I'm an asshole because of it, fucking post. So, honestly, fuck him. But I felt really bad for Jimmy Johnson. That was the long way around it. Cody Ware's a fucking dumbass. I really do hope he sees the video. I really do. If he doesn't, great. If he does, awesome. I love that. So that's your fucking tea for this evening. TNT Productions. Hi. Hello. Clout Chaser. I felt so bad for Matt DiBenedetto. I did too, because he ran very well. He ran great. And he's had the opportunity. This is his first opportunity to show how much talent he actually has. And he has a lot of fucking talent. I can't wait to see him drive in the future. I really can't. I can't wait. Because I feel like he could become a fan favorite. He's been an underdog his entire fucking career. He is literally Martin Truex 2.0. And I'm excited for that. Buddy Barker, Jimmy Johnson is the man. Can't disagree. A very wise Wolfie. He's arrogant too, but I still like him. I mean, yeah, Jimmy Johnson is arrogant. I mean, if people can like him, people can like him. I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh yeah, fuck him. But I don't know. Buddy Barker, he won't see it, trust me. Whatever, man. I hope he does, though. Fuck him. He's a fucking idiot. Fuck that guy. TNT Productions, can we talk about the near misses that Ryan Preece made with 3 big wrecks that happened in the last 9 laps? Yeah, he got very lucky in that last one specifically, where he's like split underneath those 2 cars, like the one that was coming down and the one that was coming up. I think it was one of them was Larson and then the other one was Stenhouse, I think, if I'm remembering right. I could be wrong. Either way, he split right through the fucking middle. He was a knife through butter, dude. He was incredible. He missed a lot of wrecks. It was pretty great. I like Ryan Preece. I don't know a lot about him, to be honest with you, but I do. I did think it was pretty crazy that he missed all those wrecks like that. It was fucking insane. Buddy Barker, he's obsessed with Cody. He won't. I'm not obsessed with him. I just think it's funny that he's a piece of shit. Giving away Bibles. Can you talk about our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ? He died for our sins. Nah. Very wise Wolfie. Jim Jam is arrogant. Yeah, I got you. I knew. I pay attention to chat. I remember. I remember. But no, to get back to the general fucking review of this race, right? Because I feel like it's pertinent. Like we've talked about a little bit, the wreck with Larson and Stenhouse, I thought, excuse me, I thought that it was, you know, I thought it was Stenhouse's fault. I feel like Stenhouse is really aggressive, and that was unfortunate. And then you had the wreck with Boyer, which I can't believe Boyer's that fucking stupid. You know, it happens, I guess. I mean, Boyer doesn't do that many stupid things, so maybe he can have a pass for once. I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know how to feel about that. But, you know, oh man, it was something though. It was pretty sad. Oh god, you really shouldn't curse so much. Kids could be watching. Maybe, dude. I don't know. If there's a kid watching, then they turn it off, man. This is how I talk. So I'm sure you're memeing though. I don't know who the fuck you are, but I'm sure you're memeing. Who knows? Cloud Chaser, Starcom is the next first row. Mark my words, dude. I would rather die. I would rather end myself. TNT Productions, when everyone saw 2 wide on lap 5, everyone knew, okay, this may be a good Daytona 500. Like, actually, though. Dude, the people that I was watching it with, we saw, like, the first 10 laps were side by side, and I literally busted a nut. I couldn't believe it. It was fucking incredible. They had, I told a couple of people, but they had to have gotten together, like, most of the drivers, and just, like, accepted the fact that they were going to have to go into the 500 and race hard. Because they did. They raced hard, and they raced clean, and they raced smart for a really long time throughout that entire race. Except for the end, where they throw their fucking brains out of their craniums. It's crazy. And dude, it bothers me bad. I don't get it. I just don't understand why they do it. You know? I don't get it. But they do it, so. I feel like they really ruined that race, the drivers. Especially at the end. Like, I didn't want to see it anymore. I really wanted to turn it off. But it be like this. Your creepy uncle says, yo, hello, your creepy uncle. I bet you're ready to diddle. TNT Productions again. Eric Almirola and David Reagan basically reenacted Brian Scott's near flip at Daytona in 2016. Shit, did they? I didn't even pay attention. Oh, yeah. What? Oh, yeah. I know what you're saying. You're right. I thought it was more like how the Allgaier one was in like 2012 at Daytona during the Drive for COPD race. I thought it was pretty crazy. But you know, it happens this way. There's been a lot of cars in turn 3 and 4 that have gotten yeeted underneath. The Gen 6 car is way too easy to get underneath the ass end of those cars, like way too easy. But it happens this way. This is what happens when you have carbon fiber. It's literally made out of fucking toothpicks. Those fucking cars. Giving away Bibles. Jim France told the drivers in the drivers meeting to race side by side. Yeah, I heard about that. I thought it was really funny that he brought up Hamlin and Chase Elliott because they were really the only ones that I saw in the dual races specifically that were trying to go down low and make this shit happen. Jim France is great for the sport, by the way. If you haven't watched the Champions inauguration for Joey Logano, like for his speech, Jim France gives a fuck about this sport. His brother sure fucking didn't. You know. Whew, goddamn. then Hamlin won the race by working with his teammate. It was whatever. How about Denny Hamlin winning the race for JD Gibbs and Glenwood? Listen, the JD Gibbs part is great. It's great for Joe Gibbs Racing. You know, it's great for getting JD Gibbs money for his legacy fund. By the way, every lap that Denny Hamlin led, he was donating $111 to that legacy fund, which is a great thing. But I could not give a fuck about Denny Hamlin winning that race. I thought that he was the most boring person to win the race. I didn't care that... Jim's... Wait, Brian is Jim's nephew? Oh, my bad. I thought they were brothers. God damn. Whoopsie daisies. Wait, is he? You're probably right. I wouldn't disagree. I don't disagree. Yeah, he's his nephew. I don't even fucking know, dude. I thought that they were brothers. Maybe I'm dumb as hell. Anyway. Yeah. Jim gives a fuck about the sport. Brian doesn't. Brian cared about money. Jim cared about racing. So, anyway. Yeah, Denny Hamlin winning really depressed me. And I thought that people who wanted Denny Hamlin to win are mouth breathers. And I'm going to stand by that until I, you know, die in early death. Jaden Dubecki. Is that how you say your last name? I'm pretty sure it is. I attempted. If I'm wrong somehow by one fucking, you know, little squiggly line sounding shit, you know. I'm sorry, but he said it was a pretty good damn race if you ask me. Yeah. I mean, it was good until they started wrecking each other. Like, if they would have had that big one and then never wrecked again the entire end of the race, I would have been so content. It would have been the best Daytona 500 in, like, 20 years. Like, hands down. But, you know, it didn't happen to turn out this way. And it's unfortunate. I really thought that that hinged on whether or not the race will be remembered as well as it should have been, and, you know, I don't know. That's all I gotta say about that. Cloud Chaser said, I wish McDowell would have won. I guess. It would have been interesting to see him win because he would be such an underdog. But he really wasn't a factor until everybody started wrecking each other. He was for like a few minutes in the beginning of the race, like halfway through, etc. Like he was there, but he wasn't like doing anything. I think it would have been interesting if he won, but I either like coming to the final restart, I wanted either Reese, which he was kind of the last choice, if I'm being honest, but I wouldn't have been upset if he won. I would have been actually pretty happy. The second to last choice was Kyle Busch, and then, you know, I would have wanted, who else was there? Yeah, I guess I really only have three choices. It was either fucking Joey Logano, Kyle Busch, or, you know, Ryan Preece. That's it, really. Oh, I got your... oh, okay, I did get Jaden's last name right. Alright, cool, dude. Thanks. I just had to make sure. It looked like Dubecki, but you never fucking know, man. It could have been blah, 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 you know? Some people's last names are fucking pronounced crazy, you know what I mean? Did I miss anybody's message? A very wise Wolfie corrected me and said, France Jr. is Jim's brother. That makes sense. That makes sense. See, I'm stupid, dude. Sorry. It's unfortunate. TNT _predictions. JGR finished 1-2-3. Denny Hamlin, Kyle Busch, and Eric Jones, surprisingly, after he lost the trunk lid. Yeah, I thought, I mean, it's cool or whatever, but it's just like, I didn't want Denny Hamlin to win. Like, if Kyle Busch would have won, I would have been hype as hell. Because you still can fit in the JD Gibbs portion. Then you have Kyle Busch, who won his 14th start in the Daytona 500. And if Eric Jones would have won Daytona, then he could have been, you know, back-to-back race winner at Daytona. So that could have been cool as fuck. I didn't even think about that shit. A very wise Wolfie said, I didn't want him to win, but it doesn't bother me much. Too much good in the race for the last 30 laps to ruin my opinion of it. Listen, like, the way that I'm trying to explain it is that it was a great race up until that point. And I feel like, at least for the moment, I'll probably watch that race back again and really, like, stare at it hard to try to remember all the good things at the beginning so I can forget the bad things at the end. You know? But, I don't know. I don't like, at this point in my life, watching cars get torn up. Like, it's not really something that I like seeing. Like, the only time that I want to see a car torn up is if it's doing a fucking epic blowover or some shit. Like, that's it. I don't want to see cars flying into the fence. I don't want to see cars getting junked. I don't want to see that shit. If they would have rode around, and I actually criticized somebody for saying this, but now thinking about it, I actually would have enjoyed it a lot more than what we got. I mean, it was exciting to see all those crashes and shit, and it's like, you know, that's the sport. But I almost would have rathered them ride around on the top for the rest of the race so they didn't wreck. And I said that, somebody said that to me in my presence, and I said, I was like, please, I don't even want to think about that shit. You know what I mean? I didn't want to think about it, but now I'm thinking about it, and I'm like, damn, that would have been much better. Like, way better. But, you know, that's me. I don't know. And then NRL, Brandon, don't smoke or you will die an early death. Let me read that the way that you typed it, okay? Just to give you something fun. Brandon, don't smoke or you will die an early death. You're right. You're right, dude. I do need to quit. I literally have tried so many times, dude. It's fucking insane. Tiger Tammer, RIP, my boy Chase got killed at the end. Yeah, I will explain that in a minute. Let me just keep reading these. I'm gonna come back to that though, like 100%, because my opinion on Chase has changed a tiny bit. TNT Productions, Trucks was a wreck fest, Xfinity was a snooze fest, and Cup was a long one. Trucks were a wreck fest, you're right on that. Xfinity was a snooze fest. That's an understatement, because the Xfinity race at Daytona was literally the worst race that I've ever fucking seen in my life. That was the worst super speedway race in the history of NASCAR racing, period. And Cup was a long one. It was because of the wrecks. I feel like if that race would have if they would have had that big one, and then they wouldn't have wrecked the rest of the fucking race, and they would have raced that bitch out, I don't even care if they wreck on the last lap, you know what I'm saying? Like, if they would have wrecked on the last lap, I would have been so content. I just didn't want to see them destroy that many cars, and they destroyed almost all of them. So it was depressing, and it made me very upset. So it made it feel long, but, man, dude, I really, all I wanted to see was them finish on a high note. That's it. That's it. You know? It sucks. It really made me sad. Anyway, it makes me sad thinking about it. Oh, and then we got my boy Blake, Charlie Fibrosis, up in the building. Hello, Dad. He says, I think the thing is, back in the day in big crashes, you had a big, giant sponsor that would fund you all season long, so while it sucked, it didn't impact a team bad. Right nowadays, with a slippery sponsorship package, it could break a team really bad. I feel like, yeah, that's definitely a part of it, and I wouldn't be surprised that, that would be the case. But, and this is a but, like an actual but, a booty, brother. I don't think that that's necessarily true, because the amount of sponsors, like, listen, sponsors that are in NASCAR now understand how much money it costs to fund a certain car for, you know, the entirety of the season. They understand what they're getting into. Like, what you saw with Ally Bank is probably what you're going to get more often. The sponsor that Jamie McMurray had, Advent Health, you're going to see more of those types of sponsorships, where they're going to sponsor a team or sponsor a car and then request NASCAR to be able to also sponsor a very specific part of, like how Credit One Bank has. The Credit One Bank white flag or whatever. Ally Bank, the official insurance company of NASCAR. And then you have Advent Health, the official whatever the fuck. They have Advent Health infield care centers now, and it's like, Jesus. And then they're also funding all of that shit. And it's like, the hell? Like, there's big sponsors that are coming in now, and they're wanting to spend big dollars. So I don't feel like that's the case necessarily. You got Busch Beer with Harvick, and they're doing a lot of fucking shit with him. You know, I don't know. I feel like people just came in there, at least for Xfinity. I think in Xfinity this is actually very true. I don't know about the 500 because a lot of people came out to fucking race, but I think for the 500, or the Xfinity race, sorry, was they came in there knowing that they have destroyed a lot of shit in the past, and were just not wanting to destroy a lot of shit. So they were like, you know, we'll just ride around. The 500, they didn't do that. They went all out. They went all out too much. In fact, they should have kept the stress level at like what they had with, you know, 85 laps in, you know. Marsman 512, I just got here. What did I miss? A lot, actually, but you can watch it later. You'll be fine. You'll be all right. I think I have the DVR system turned on, so I don't know if you can go back that far or not, but anyway. Then we got I almost called you Charlie, unironically. We got Blake. He says, oh, I understand. I was just saying more so for the smaller teams. With all of those official sponsors with the sport, I do miss the competitiveness of certain sponsors in the sport. Miller versus Bud versus Coors, Home Depot versus Lowe's versus Menards, etc. I do too. No, I mean from the stream. You missed me talking shit about Cody Ware. You missed me talking shit about the drivers in general and calling them stupid. You missed a lot of discussions about all of the wrecks and what I thought about them, and you missed me reading the comments, basically. But you're here for this one and all the other ones, so it's working out. Anyway, a very wise Wolfie. I didn't miss yours, by the way. I just wanted to get Blake's out of the way because I haven't talked to him in a hot minute, and I like talking to him. I like talking to you too, though. You're leaving good fucking comments, boy. Anyway, so a very wise Wolfie says, Dega is going to be ridiculous. 115 more horsepower and extremely strong draft. I expect 220 miles per hour. Here's the problem with that. The problem with that is, I don't feel like the draft is going to be that much stronger because, listen, here's why this package looks like ass. The draft that they have is actually really good. Like, considering how far that they can, you know, let off and try to get a run on somebody, they can get a run, no problem. It's just the problem is they stall. And it's because of that stupid little fucking lip that they have coming off the back end of those cars. They put it there so they couldn't tandem. Everybody's been talking about all this week that they put it there so they couldn't blow over. That's fucking bullshit. They put it there so you couldn't tandem. They didn't want these cars to tandem, so they put that little extension lip on the rear. There's no air that comes to the front of that car. So let's think about this logically, right? When you get really far back from a car in front of you, you have perfectly clean air coming over the top. It's a little dirty, but you need that for draft. So the air is coming off the top of the car in front, going down off the rear, and then the back end is punching a big hole in the air. Those are fat back ends, you know what I mean? They're thick, boy. So, the bubble itself is large, and the amount of air coming off of the car is large. But the problem is that when they get to the rear, all the air stops. They're perfectly behind the car in front of them in terms of aerodynamics. The cars are really sleek. All the sides are very shelfy. They're not rounded. They can't allow air to continue to keep going. Especially now with this new package, we saw them stalling out even worse than before, like last year's 500. Last year's 500, they were getting humongous runs and were able to stay behind each other and actually push really hard. That was the best package that they've had in a while, and I remember watching that 500 race being like, holy shit. The 2018 Daytona 500 package was really good. It's just they decided to wreck for most of it. What was I saying? Oh yeah, the draft model is stupid because you can't just continue a run when the aerodynamics of the car are perfectly aligned with the one in front. All right, you need to still have dirty air coming onto the top of like the windshield, hitting the top of the roof, etc. Instead, what you have is you have a car that gets hot when it's close to another one. It fucking heats up. It can't handle it. It'll blow the motor. So they don't just stay behind each other. And then putting that extension lip made it to where you're actually reversing aerodynamic airflow. So when you get to the back of one of those cars, it pushes the car in front of you forward, and then it just leaves you at the same mile per hour before you bursted them off an extra 2 miles an hour. So if I'm going 198 behind you, I just pushed you up to 201, sometimes 202 miles an hour. So it's the aerodynamics become perfect for you behind a car, but since they're so perfect, you have no run anymore. It ends, and then you push that car ahead forward because now he doesn't have as much air on his car. He has less drag. That's how it works. That's how those cars are. They're fucking stupid. So, anyway, that's an aerodynamic lesson. TNT Productions. How come nowadays at super speedways the big ones are harder and harder to miss with the Gen 6 car, like the July Daytona race in 2018? The track got clogged, and they're getting even harder to miss wrecks. Oh. Jesus, I don't know why I read that like a fucking idiot. I'm sorry. He basically asked, why is it more difficult to miss wrecks in the Gen 6 car? I think it has to... Well, I mean, it's always been hard to miss wrecks. Don't get it twisted. I just think now the way that the package is that since you can't slingshot and, like, get a proper amount of room between you and another car. Like, look at the picture that I have on screen for this stream, right? When you look at the 20 and the 24 up there, close to the Y and the T and the Daytona logo on the top lane, yellow and black car, like, that's the amount that you're able to get close to a rear bumper, okay? And then you have the 27 and the 20. Second and third in line on the top. If you look at that picture, the way that works is that the second that a car gets put in the wall, look at how close he is. Right? There's not that big of a gap. Like, that's about as large as the gap is going to get when you have a run. Then you see the bottom lane. They're spread out a lot, but that gap closes up really quickly. They still get big runs. Don't get it twisted. I think the reason why that this package allows for wrecks to become harder to miss is because they're always constantly on top of each other. If you are behind somebody, the closing rate is so fast that you have no chance. If you watch the race really closely and watch the telemetry, you can see how fast they were going on the straightaways and how slow they were going in the corners. I think it was during DiBenedetto's run where he literally caught the end of the fucking Ford pack. He was going like 200 miles an hour going into turn 1, and then dropping down to 195 in the corner. So let's say I'm running 195 in the corner and you get loose in front of me. You're going 185. I'm going 195. That's a lot of speed. Like, the difference in speed right there is a ton in this package. Because I'm gonna run right up your ass. And I'm gonna have no chance. Bubba Wallace got extremely angry at Tyler Reddick on Twitter. You can go find it. Where he said an inexperienced driver equals 43 car torn up. Or whatever. And he basically was shitting on Tyler Reddick for running into the back of him. But you have to understand that the closing rate in these cars are fucking enormous. Enormous. There's no time to slow down. It's hard. It's hard to miss a wreck in these things. And especially how easily they bounce off the walls. The safer walls don't fucking help in that regard, because they throw the cars back out into the fucking track. And that's always been a problem with the safer barrier. You can go and look at Ryan Newman's wreck at Talladega in 2003 when he hit the wall so hard that he almost flipped the fuck over. Like, that was on a concrete wall, but the difference with that was he hit it with the corner of the nose, so it tipped the car on the side, and then, you know, momentum just takes over the fucking car and he slides down the track. With these walls, they literally throw you back out into the track. Like, it also doesn't help that the back ends of these cars weigh nothing. It doesn't help that the tires that Goodyear bring, they have an extreme amount of sidewall grip. So the amount of sidewall grip that you have is astronomical because they need it for side force. But the second that they get sideways, they slide for days until they hook back up. But if you're already in the corner, like if you wreck in the turn, y'all are fucked. You're done. It's over. This is how it's going to be. And that's why it's harder to miss wrecks in these cars. You've got closing rate, and then you've got the tires. Then you've got how little the fucking car weighs. And then you've got the safer walls. They fucking throw people back out into traffic, pretty much. It's a tiny track now. Did you see how tight it was on the straightaways? I still can't believe that they extended all these safer barriers on the straightaways. There's hardly any room to run on the straightaways. It's insane. If they go 4 wide at Daytona, they're gonna wreck. Talladega, they can get away with it. That track is ginormous. California, you can get away with it. Track is ginormous. Daytona's fucking tiny in terms of super speedways, man. It's narrow central. Clout Chaser, you think the big gap with the smaller teams and the big teams will be closed with the aero package? Abso-fucking-lutely. 100%. Those cars are going to be so much easier to drive that it's insane. The problem will be is if they use this package until the new car comes out. If they use this package until the new car comes out, the gap is going to get big. And it's going to get bigger than it was with the 2018 package, if I'm being honest with you, because the amount of fuckery that they were able to do with the 2018 package really wasn't that much. They were, but everybody figured out really quickly what they were doing. It was a simpler package. There wasn't a lot to mess with. Aero-wise, not a lot to mess with. Setup-wise, it's been the same since 2013. Not a lot to mess with. Parts on the cars, not a lot to mess with. So 2018 closed up pretty well. If the gap gets bigger, it's because teams are going to figure out a way to mess with the setup, and that's strictly it. They can't mess with the aerodynamic of the car. They can't take any downforce off. If you take downforce off of the car, it's going to make them slower in the corner, and this new car, this new package is going to be all about center of the corner speed. It won't even matter if you get bogged down on the straightaway. Doesn't fucking matter. You'll fly around these tracks. We're going to see higher corner speeds than we've seen in a long time. And 2018 had high corner speeds. Insane in corner speeds. Crazy. I don't know. It's going to be setup based, but I do think it'll get closed for a while. I feel like this season is going to be one of the better ones that you've seen in terms of racing. like side by side, passing, whatever. But by the next season, after this new package, you're going to see people running away with it. I think you'll see people running away with it, but I think it'll be more fault of the package more than anything. So, that's how I feel about that. And then you got Tyler Parker. When is NASCAR going to get away from the this heavy topside aero-dependent car? This is what needs to be addressed. Hopefully that is what they are working on. Honestly, in general, all forms of motorsports are... They're all topside aero-dependent cars. All of them. Every single one. F1, 100%. Sports car racing, they have to be. NASCAR, they went in that direction because they're dumb. I don't think they understood what they were getting themselves into when they allowed whoever it was, you know, to design the COT. That was their first mistake. Whoever designed the COT is the one that allowed for this car to be born, and it's a piece of shit. I don't think that they will get away from topside aero-dependent cars. They're always going to have cars that are pushed into the pavement. We're never going to see high ride heights again. You didn't even see it in 2007, like, when they were still running the car yesterday, whatever you want to call it. They were still slamming those cars down to the pavement. You know what I mean? They were running those things right on the edge of ride limits. They were probably smacking the ground in those cars. I would have to go and look back at some of those races, but I'm almost positive that they were still hitting the ground and running those things as low as they could because they knew that downforce is created when you shove that fucking bitch to the ground. You know what I mean? It's faster. You know, every series is doing it. I don't think anybody's going to get away from it. What they can do to limit the amount of aero dependency is allowing for the cars to have a higher what's the word that I'm looking for, a higher drag number. You want more drag because it would make it less important. And I don't think going back to a valence would be important or anything. I think that this car could work if they really just reorganized how sleek they made it. It's aero dependent because of how sleek the body is. Go look at a picture of like a 1998 Cup car and then go look at a picture of the 2019 Cup car or the 2018 Cup car. You'll see it. They, you know, they took a lot of things from the 1998 cars and then just made it way more aggressive. They have big ass shelves, they have big ass quarter panels, they have big ass everything. The back ends are fat, the noses are fat, the roundness of the cars is enormous. They're never gonna get away from it. Read some of this. TNT Productions. Bowman versus Byron. Who wins first? Byron. I don't even know why Bowman's in the 88, to be honest with you. I really like Bowman, but he's shit. He's just not a good race car driver. I don't know. He had opportunities to win. I don't think he's gonna have an opportunity to win this year. I think he's kind of a bust. But that's me, personally. I could be completely wrong, by the way. I've been wrong about a lot of shit in my life. A lot of shit. He could win next week. I don't fucking know. If he does, I'll eat my words. You know, I'll be the first one to be like, yep, I was wrong. Mr. Keith, 8885. NASCAR is nothing but a show, not a race. The end. It doesn't have to be that way. Racing is a show, yes. NASCAR is a show, yes. But they do have racing. It can be a show with racing. It doesn't have to be strictly nonsense. You know? But that's just me. Charlie Fibrosis. They were planted hard back in 05, 07. Valence had no space between the track and the body. Exactly. They were slamming those cars down to the pavement trying to find fucking, an aerodynamic advantage. They wanted more downforce. More downforce is important. And the further that you get cars onto the ground, the less amount that the ass end is in the air, which means less drag. So they would be fast in the corners and they would be fast on the straightaways. Because they were fucking with ride heights so hard. I think if you had a ride height limit, like how they had at super speedways, I think you would see a lot better racing, actually. But it would make dirty air worse. Be more splitter in the air. More splitter in the air, and then more spoiler in the air. And it would make them slower. It would give them less downforce, but dirty air would be incredible. It would be out of this world. Then you have Cloud Chaser. The new package seems like that high drag package that they tried in 2015 at Indy and Michigan. I would 100% fucking hope not. I really would. Marsman 512, better than Dale Jr. in his last year. Wait, what are you talking about? Did I say something retarded? I can't remember. Let me know what you mean by that, because I kind of forgot. Heat Wolf, Larson to the 48 when Jimmy retires. I think that is dumb, honestly. I don't think he's gonna leave Ganassi, bro. I don't think he'll ever leave Ganassi. The main reason why is because he wants to run fucking Indy cars at some point. That's why he's there. I think he's gonna end up running Indy cars. If he wins a championship, I think he's done with NASCAR. I don't even think that it was his main concern, NASCAR. I think he likes NASCAR, but I don't think he likes racing in NASCAR. If I would, have to bet money on it, Alex Bowman. Oh, you said he was really bad, but the 88 has improved since he showed up. Yeah, I wouldn't disagree. I mean, I think he's bad in comparison to Byron. I don't think he's as good as Byron. Like, at least in my opinion. If he made the 88 better, then that's great. I think Junior ran like shit in his final year because he didn't want to get hurt. That year was for Rick Hendrick. He felt like he owed Rick Hendrick the last season on his contract. He didn't want to fuck with his loyalty. I think he was loyal to his owner and he ran the races and didn't really try. I think if Junior really would have wanted to win another race, I think he could have. But I think he just rode around. He didn't want to get hurt. Tyler Parker. So what is your best design elements that NASCAR should go with to promote close racing and better finishes? I don't think that I would go towards having those two things. I wouldn't go to try to promote close racing, and I wouldn't try to go and promote better finishes into working with a new car and trying to design a new car. What I would try to do is eliminate objects that are bad with the car. I wouldn't want to center it around close racing. I wouldn't want to center it around better finishes. I think that's where people get it twisted. Because all these cars that we've had in the past, they were not built to have amazing finishes. They weren't built to have close racing. It just happened to be that way. The amount that they were able to fuck with the bodies back in the day is crazy compared to now. They can't even do a quarter of the shit that they're doing now. Or that they were doing then, excuse me. The amount of fuckery that they were able to get away with way back then, was enormous. And then you have what the car was was a car that was not really aero savvy. Those cars weren't aero savvy. You know what I mean? Like, the way that they cut through the air was nice, but it still had its flaws. Over time, bodybuilders in NASCAR, as you saw, if you go and look back at like pictures of Jeff Gordon's 2007 car, that fucking thing is skewed to oblivion. It's because NASCAR didn't fucking care. They didn't care what they were doing to the bodies. The bodies were naturally skewing because the teams were fucking with them really, really hard. And NASCAR didn't stop them from doing it. I think if you look back at 2014, when teams were pulling out the fenders on the side skirts, I think that made the racing better. I think that they were able to do what they wanted to do to make the cars better. I think it was better for the fucking racing. I think NASCAR needs to open up their rulebook, number one. And number two, have a car that wouldn't be as dependent on aerodynamics. Make a car that has more horsepower than an aero coefficient. You know what I mean? They need to be draggy cars. You know what I mean? Like, they need to have high drag, high power. So you're close to each other, but you also have horsepower to be able to go and pass somebody. It needs to be more about the driver than it is about the car. Because at the current time, it's more about the car. If you don't have a decent car, you're going to be trash. You don't have to have a car that, 35th in points should be able to go and win in. But, I mean, you should have a chance to be able to show your talent. But if we have cars that have no drag, then it's impossible to do it. So higher drag, higher power. I don't care what you do with the the downforce at that point. You could have the downforce high as hell. Let's see. Charlie Fibrosis. That and the massive possible fan backlash too if Junior just up and left after 2016. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. TNT Productions. Michael Annett is wasting a playoff spot in Xfinity again. Yep. That's it. You're right. You got Heat Wolf. How do you feel about timed races like other series like Formula? Because I'll be honest, I go to ATL every year, and it's not that fun for 3+ hours. Yeah, I think if the races were shorter, that would fix a lot of problems. I love 500-mile races. I love the strategy that goes behind them. I love how much they have to think. I love how much the teams have to help the driver get the car to react the way that they want it to. Like, I love that shit. Love it. But I feel like 500-mile races are like IndyCar races. 500 miles in an Indy car is pretty short, if I'm being honest with you, is because they go so fucking fast. Cup cars, 500 miles, they're going too slow. It doesn't suit them. Stock cars should race for like, at maximum like an hour and 30 minutes, I would think. But that's me. I don't know. Everybody can have a different opinion. But I think like an hour and 30 to 2 hours is a perfect amount of time for a fucking stock car race. I think even 2 hours would be like the maximum. I wouldn't go higher than 2 hours. If it went over 2 hours, I don't know. Seems pretty dumb. Clout Chaser, you think Ross Chastain will get the one car? No. Unless Monster requests for him to be in there. Because after Kurt leaves, I don't know what Monster's going to do. I don't know what sponsors they're going to have. I guess McDonald's is going to stick around. Fuck if I know. I have no fucking idea. Tyler Parker says, ditch the stage racing first off. I don't think you have to ditch it. I think if you just like spaced it out perfectly, like all the stages are equal, then it would be fine. Dude, honestly, now that they went to stage racing, I couldn't imagine them not doing stage racing. I actually think that the stage racing is one thing that I enjoy a lot, which is kind of crazy because I shit on it at first. But I kind of like stage racing. I like it a lot. Charlie Fibrosis, my opinion, the season should be no chase, 40 to 1 points, maybe laps led, halfway led bonus points, pole point. Yeah. I think if they went back to the 2011 point system without a chase system, yeah. I think it would be a pretty good system. I do like the chase in terms of the way that they have it now, where you can actually carry over points. The way that you're able to carry over points from races during the season, the regular season, and then into the playoffs, like, I like that. I enjoyed that they added that in. I feel like it needs to be more accentuated, though. For sure. Give them more points so they can have a buffer. If you're the best car the entire fucking regular season, you should pretty much be locked in, I think. I think that you should have enough of a points gap that if you go into Homestead, then, you know, what happens, happens. I think that they could... Sorry, I've been up since like 5 in the morning, by the way. I think that if, you know, they made... this point system is fine, but I think if they made it to where stage points were a lot higher, if there was a bigger interval between points, like if first in the stage got 15 and then second got like 9, and then everybody else went down by 1, I think it would be perfect. It would be absolutely fucking perfect. It'd be better than what we got. About Chaser, they should get rid of the stages for the road courses. That I can agree on. That I can agree on. For sure. I do think it's pretty annoying to have stage racing at fucking road courses. Because road courses are supposed to be races that, if it goes green for that long, then it's supposed to. You got Heat Wolf, once again. Does Daniel Suarez do something in the 41 this year? Absolutely. I feel like he'll win races. I feel like if he wins one race, he did all that he needed to do. Everything and more. He has nothing to prove. He hasn't even been able to start his career. He literally got Joey Logano'd. TNT Production. Speaking of Ross Chastain, he had a great Daytona Speed Weeks. Trucks, he finished 3rd, 13th for Xfinity, which wasn't great, but he won a stage, and Cup, he finished 10th. Yeah. I mean, I don't like Ross Chastain, but he did do a good job. That's for sure. Tyler Parker. Absolutely hate the stage racing, but cheers, man. Old school FIA points. 10 for the win. 6, 4, 3, 2, 1. Only top 6 get points. I don't know. I don't know about that. I feel like the 40 to 1 points would work. It's just they need the... I feel like stage racing works... And I feel like if they added in points, if they added in more points to the winner of a stage and to a winner of the race that carried over into the playoffs, at least like the accumulation of all those points, if somebody went in with a 200-point lead and then they still had the reset at Homestead and the top 4 in the championship go there and they can run for the championship, I wouldn't hate it. I wouldn't hate it. I do think that it's a gimmick, but it's a gimmick that works. It's a gimmick that works pretty well because everybody, at least last season, was pretty good. Everybody in the top 4 at Homestead deserved to be there. But you know, I don't know. I have no idea. That's just how I feel, though. I'm just messing, bro. I can agree with those points. Make the stage race wins count for more. Exactly. That's really all that needs to happen, is that they need to trick you into thinking that stage racing is there for a reason. At this point, it doesn't feel like it's there for a reason. Like, other than just throwing a caution and then having a commercial, you know? Because that's mostly what it was made for. They brought in stage racing to, quote, make it more exciting, and to be able to have a designated commercial that could be a little bit longer than every other commercial, so they could cut down on commercial time, which they've increased it. Anyway, but that's how they work. Charlie Fibrosa, should the NASCAR fields be bigger? 45, 30, smaller than 40, stay at 40. Stay at 40. I think it's fine. I think that if there are more teams that... If there's teams that show up to Daytona, you know, just to try that one race, I don't feel like they need to have the charter. The charter system is what's killing the fields. The charter system's fucking stupid. It's just for a way for NASCAR to fucking feel like they put in a pay gap. We only want certain people coming in because they need to buy a charter. It's like, what the hell? It's just stupid. That makes less people show up. And then you got Cloud Chaser. You still play in our... that's a difficult question to answer, honestly. I'm just burnout, man. I'm burnout as fuck. I've been doing it for so many years, and I'm just tired. And actually, I can use this as an opportunity to talk about those Fortnite videos. I'm really depressed that people didn't like them. I'm really depressed about it. I've been trying pretty hard. I don't know. I feel like I just want to move on. I want to do something else. I don't mind doing these videos because I still like talking about NASCAR, but it's like I've posted so many videos about editing EXEs, and all I've ever got is shit on for it by certain people in the fucking community and shit about it, and it's just like, I don't care. I got accused for cheating in online races. I'm just sick of it, you know? All because I edited fucking EXEs. It's retarded. I just don't want to be a part of it anymore in that aspect. So, I play it by myself. I still edit EXEs by myself. But, like, I haven't done it in 2 months. I tried to do it the other night, and I literally, like, got to the point that I edited the CSV for, like, a minute. I put it onto the EXE, and then I was supposed to start my game, and then when it came to putting up my wheel, I was already drained of all my energy, man. You know? Anyway. That's not what this video is about, but thank you for the question, though, because I've wanted to talk about it for a bit. Tyler Parker, who wants to field those extra cars at the cost that it takes to be competitive? Nobody. Nobody. But they don't... NASCAR doesn't give new, like, potential owners a reason, and that's the main issue. I think if they didn't have that fucking crap, of, you know, you need to have a charter to be able to be locked into the races, that's what killed it. I feel like if you miss the race, like, if for some reason, right, if for some reason, let's go back a few years, like 2008, if Jeff Gordon would have missed a Darlington race because he got cucked by a penalty or something, and he wasn't able to get into the race, then he didn't deserve to be in the race. I feel like that's the same way now. Everybody got very upset when James Hinchcliffe didn't qualify for the Indy 500, but it's because they had a bunch of problems. And that's why he didn't qualify for the Indy 500. You know? That's how I feel about that. Does Cup need composite bodies and a set budget for more teams to show up? Yes. That would be a great start. I don't know about... I think you could get away with keeping the bodies the way that they are. Like, composite bodies, yeah, they're cheaper. But... definitely making a salary cap for teams and Cup Xfinity trucks would be fucking the best thing that they could have done. Because it cuts down costs for the teams, it cuts down costs for new teams trying to come in. it makes it much easier and more attainable to be able to show up and possibly run well because everybody's running on the same damn budget. I think it would be the best thing that they've done, but they probably won't do it, so I don't know. Yeah, Tyler Parker, once again, happens at Indy all the time. It's like the stupid 25-10 rule in the old the old school Indy racing league. I agree. TNT Productions. When will NASCAR change the grass infields from grass to turf that Charlotte has? I'm tired of having the world's fastest lawnmowers destroy the front end of their cars by making a small error. And then Cloud Chaser said, yeah, same. I hope that they never get rid of grass. I just hope that at some point in the future they will go into these infields and smooth them out. Smooth out the racetrack, smooth out the grass, level it off. Level it off at least as much as you can, because that's why they're ripping the noses off, is because the ground isn't fucking level. I think if they... One thing that they could do that would be really smart is pave over all the grass with concrete, but leave like a small dip in there so that you could put something like turf, or you could put just actual grass with like a small layer of dirt, because grass really doesn't need that much room to grow down into in terms of dirt. They can grow out sideways instead of vertical. They can grow out horizontal, all their roots. So grass could live in an environment like that. So I think that would be smarter. So they could just have a leveled off area of grass, so they didn't have to go in there and smash into it and rip the whole front of the car off. But that's me. I want to be able to still see grass at racetracks. I don't think that should be fucking concrete canyon, craven, whatever the fuck the stupid term is. I'm so fucking tired, it's crazy. Deechwall. Also, do you think the new crop of drivers are worse at play racing than previous generations? It seems like everyone in the lower series that are young are still very jumpy and swerving. Yes. They need time. Everybody needs time. They'll get better, though. I feel like if this generation of stock car drivers can figure out that package, which now it's gone, but if they could figure out that package, like Tyler Reddick, he figured out that package pretty well. You could really use and learn how to control any other package in the future because of that package right there. Tell those folks to have a hot dog, Brandon. Damn, hot dog. Hot dog. Have a hot dog, boy. Heat Wolf. The NASCAR community doesn't know what they want, but yeah, good job on NR. I thought the videos were interesting, but I stick to iRacing now. Yeah, fuck NR. The NR community is really fucking tasteless. It's just boring at this point. I'll come back when that new IndyCar mod gets released. I don't know if y'all been checking out that, but NASCAR Fun Facts is re-updating the IndyCar for the 2019 season. And the new body that he made is really good. If I ever came back to NR, it would be for like IndyCar stuff, because that's what I'm still interested in IndyCar EXEs for NR. I mean, it would just take a lot. It would take a lot for me to come back to NR. And I say that now, and I could show up tomorrow and go back to doing exactly what I was doing. But it's just like, I want to be able to do new things. I felt like the videos that I posted that were about Fortnite were really good, and then people were disliking them, and I was just like, well, fuck my life, I guess. It really made me upset, because I want to be able to do new stuff and you guys be around for it. Because trust me, like, I'm funny doing other things. I'm cool doing other things. You know? It doesn't just stop with NR. You know what I mean? But that's just me. Check out my new content whenever it happens. If you've checked out the Idiocity channel, you should. Because we're funny on there, you know? It's a good time. Other video games are fun to watch. It's just NR is played out. Tyler Parker, the 1995 Indy 500 happened to Penske. Missed the race with both cars. Yeah, I remember that. I don't remember it personally, but I have watched it. Charlie Fibro said, it is my refusal to switch purely to iRacing due to cost, but just know I care about you, Brandon. I miss you, and I love to talk to racing with you in the future, and so I miss you in NR, but I understand. Yeah, I love you too, Blake. I mean, like, I don't know. I just don't want my whole fucking, I don't want my whole YouTube channel to be completely based around one thing. Because, listen, I know that this video wasn't about this, but I've wanted to make a video about it for so fucking long to explain, like, why I'm not posting anything. But it's like, when you post the same things for years, the same shit almost every day, like at least every week for 6-7 years, you get tired of doing it. Like very easily, and it doesn't interest me anymore. It's not like the game is bad or it's dying or anything. NR, in terms of YouTube, is doing better than it's ever done. But, I've just been doing it for so long, and I don't want to be tied down to one thing. I don't want to be tied down to one game. I want to be able to play other games, get good at them, and then do the same thing that I did with NR, which is play them, record them, have people enjoy the content, and me move on with my life. You know what I mean? I want to do it with Apex Legends. I want to do it with Fortnite. I wanted to do it with PUBG, but my computer was shit when that game was really popular, so I couldn't really do that. You know? I just want to be able to have people around that enjoy me more than they enjoy the game. You know what I mean? That's hard to find, though. It's hard to find viewers like that. I feel like I have some, it's just people just didn't enjoy the fucking content, so it was like, I don't know. Tyler Parker, Daytona to be the next Paul Ricard. Fuck that, dude. I'd rather die. Y'all should try R Factor 2. I have. I like R Factor 2 a lot, actually. Excuse me, boys. Excuse me, boys. D-Schwal, this is kind of a meme question, but who will replace Jimmy Johnson? A meme answer would be... Ooh, how much of a Swift Nene would it be if it would be Tyler Reddick? That'd be insane. That'd be so fucking crazy. Anyway, a very wise Wolfie says, NR 2003 needs more people like me. Explain if you're still here. Dishwal, also, the Fortnite videos are genuinely funny. It's just that you had built a said audience. Also, try building your audience for Fortnite and stuff on Twitch. I have. I've tried to post my Twitch links on my Discord and everything, being like, hey, dude, I'm streaming. Like, if you want to come talk, you can talk or whatever. I'm playing this game and I can multitask. And people just don't do it. People don't want to watch that shit. So, I don't know. I don't know. It's whatever. It's fine. If I lose my fan base, I lose it. You know? But I just don't want to fucking... I don't know. I don't want to be stuck in the same shit, man. I've been playing this game for so fucking long. I just don't want to play it right now. Like, at all. Like, something needs to happen. I don't know. TNT Productions. NASCAR needs to stick with one aero package for like 9 to 10 years so fans can get used to an era, which is why NASCAR gets criticized a lot. Doesn't matter if it's bad, some fans will love it or hate it. That's what they've had with this package, and it's not good. Also, I just got a message saying apparently NASCAR is testing the Gen 7 car either tomorrow or Tuesday. So there you go. In our 2003 Master. Hi, Brandon. Saludos de Peru. Yo, dude. Did I say that shit right? I'm sure I didn't. Hold on. Wait a minute. Let's go on. Let's go on fucking. Let's go on Google Translate. Let's see. I probably fucked that up. Google Translate. Alright, let's see. I'm gonna type this in, enter text. God, I fucking didn't even copy this shit. All right. Copy. Enter text. Ooh, hi, fucked it up bad. I'm sorry. Yeah, dude. How's it hanging? Glad to see you're from Peru. I like that kind of shit, man. I love hearing about where people are fucking from. If it's not in the United States. That's neat. How do you like Peru? Is that shit lit? I hope so. Charlie Fibrosis. I'm stuck in a rut with my stuff, but it's because I feel like I'm restricted by outside sources, i.e. Nintendo, and I suck or don't like other games, Fortnite, Call of Duty, Metal Gear, etc. That's why you just have to find your niche, man. I'm still trying to find my niche. I felt like NR 2003 was my niche, but then I got tired of it. So, you know, I have no idea. I don't know. You can play Nintendo games now. It's just... I don't know. I don't know. I have no idea. You just gotta try to find your niche, bro. Cloud Chaser, do you play Red Dead 2? No, I don't. I would, though. If I had a console, I would. If I had an external capture card, I would. I would 100% play games like that. It would be a lot of fun. Dishwell. Honestly, Gregson has the money and has a slight connection to get into Hendrick with the whole JR Motorsports thing, but I doubt he'll get the 48 car if he goes to Cup. I doubt he would, too. They're probably going to retire the number like how they did the 3. Except he didn't die for them to retire it. Tyler Parker, Brandon, let me know then. I could always use some help tire modeling in R Factor 2. Bro, hit me up. Fucking... wait a minute. Let me go figure out what my Reddit username is. I can't even forget. But let me go check it for you. If you want to message me on Reddit, my username is newworld89. I typed it in chat and I'm adding you, Tyler Parker. There you go. Find me on Reddit and send me a message so we can get in better contact. Because I would. I like fucking R Factor 2, dude. I feel like that's the best game that we got, so it would be interesting. A very wise Wolfie. Someone who cares more about racing than being seen as professional. See, that's what I feel like I am. But, I don't know. I don't know. I feel like I've been like that for a while, actually. I've been talking shit about NASCAR for years. Oh, Peru is beautiful is what he said. I honestly thought that since it started with an H, I thought it was going to be, you said Peru is homo, and I was about to be like, bro, this guy's trolling, but it says Peru is beautiful when I put it into Google Translate. I'm glad to hear Peru is beautiful, dude. That's great. That is great fucking news, man. Oh, fuck. Alright. Alright, Tyler Parker. Sweet deal, bro. Neato Toledo, dog. I'm glad. Good thing you laughed at it, because I laughed hard. So this video's been an hour and 30 minutes. I've been up since 5 in the morning, and it is 9:20, so I think I'm gonna bounce, but, if you guys have any final questions, I will take them and answer them accordingly. Oh, Clout Chaser, we got one. I know you don't care about NR anymore, but Brian Ring is back. Where? Where is he floating around at? It depends on where he's floating around at. Because if he's floating around in circles of like SRD and shit like that, it's a lost cause. But if he's floating around in circles of some other form that isn't cancerous, then that's great. I would have to know where he is. I want to message him and be like, yo, bro, I fuck with this game so fucking hard. Like, you want to do something? You want to collaborate? You want to kiss? You want to fucking make out? They said your name on TV that one time. Cause you made that one track. They played that one game, Talladega BR. I would want to ask him. I would just want to interview him and be like, yo, bro, did you laugh your fucking ass off when they said that shit? Did you think that they were old as hell? Were you just like, God damn, those Gen Xers are like, what? You know? Anyway. Fucking boomers, they were goofy about my fucking track, bro. Anyway, I think I'm gonna bounce, everybody, so, thanks a lot for coming out to the video. This video changed a lot from, a 2019 Daytona 500 review, but, I'm gonna retitle this, so when it auto-uploads, it'll be correct. Alright, there we go. Retitled it. That should be good. Anyway, thank you for coming out and watching. If you watched an hour and 30 minutes of this shit. I have no idea if you did, but if you did, you're fucking nuts, dude. I'll maybe do some streams of some other stuff in the future. If you guys want to check them out, then that would be sick. Anyway, see you guys later. Bye-bye.